Hello and good evening, friends, and welcome to another edition of Strictly Sports NFL Saturday. I am your host, Anthony Floyer, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher. Maybe away in the presence of Michael Bullock. I don't know. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll have him with us tomorrow night when we recap the Survivor Series. But week 11 of the NFL, it started this past Thursday night. A matchup of the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. And the Seattle Seahawks wound up winning that game by a score of 28-21 to temporarily take over the top spot in the NFC West. The Rams could overtake that if they beat Tampa Bay on Monday night, which we'll get into at the end. But Seattle, they needed this win. It was a much needed win. They were on a 2-game losing streak, losing to the Bills and the Rams, both on the road. But they came home to their brand new, newly named Lumen Field in Seattle. It's no longer CenturyLink Field. It's now Lumen Field. But whatever the case, Seattle got it done. Russell Wilson, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns. Carlos Hyde, 79 yards rushing and a score. Tyler Lockett, 67 yards and a touchdown. DK Metcalf had a receiving touchdown as well. Defense, 3 sacks on the night, including 2 by Carlos Dunlap. On the other side, Kyler Murray, 269 yards, 2 TDs, no picks. Kenyon Drake had a rushing touchdown, 29 yards. Edmonds and Arnold had the receiving touchdowns for Arizona. Their defense recorded 3 sacks of their own, and that's basically all we need to know. So, big win for the Seattle Seahawks, evening the score with the Arizona Cardinals after that thrilling overtime game we had a few weeks ago. So, no, not really much more to say on this except MF Seattle getting back on track. A must-win game for them after that tough season losing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This was a must-win game, and then unfortunately for Arizona, it was indeed a letdown. Arizona, after pulling one of the most miraculous and unbelievable victories a week ago, as they knocked off the Buffalo Bills.
I'm surprised I still have voice left. After that.
You know what? You made the call that was going to be the game of the week. I honestly had a little bit of trepidation about the game, but my goodness, what a game we had. I don't think there's anything else that we could say that could have been any better than what happened there. That was without a doubt one of the best outcomes, one of the best games we've done in a very, very long time. I mean, we've had some games that's been unbelievable. I don't think we've ever had a game that came down to like literally the last second like that had us going absolutely emphatic.
I know.
Literally a going for it all moment, and the minute I yelled out touchdown, Anthony went absolutely ballistic.
Joe Buck, Minneapolis Miracle style.
Yes, absolutely. I yelled out touchdown. Next thing you know, it's Anthony Florio saying unbelievable touchdown Arizona. Cardinals win it. It's DeAndre Hopkins. Holy cow, can you believe that?
Holy cow, are you kidding? But close enough.
Yep. But, yeah. Unbelievable. What a game. But
Thursday.
It was a letdown. Seattle came out playing pretty good. Arizona played tough, but they just couldn't make enough plays. The defense of Seattle, they're no Legion of Boom. A lot of people's been criticizing their defense all year long. Their defense stood up when it needed them the most, when it counted the most, when they needed it. The big moment And Seattle's D stood up and said, nope, we are not going to let you lose this game. So, yeah, big victory for them, no doubt.
What is it about Arizona and what is it about State Farm, University of Phoenix Stadium every time we do a game there? I mean, we always get a
I know.
5-star Shakespearean drama classic.
I know. I don't know
42,
what it is. I
Super
don't
Bowl
know what it
42,
is.
Super Bowl 42, Super Bowl 49, the Cardinals Sunday night game against Cincinnati a number of years ago, and then this one. I think we just have all our games scheduled there. That's all I can say. Because anytime we get a game there, it's always going to be a 5-star Shakespearean drama classic. And sure enough, that indeed was one. And yeah,
and you're absolutely right about that too, because even the Miami Dolphin game, the game that the Dolphins and the Cardinals had, that was a pretty close game. That was a down to the wire game as well. So I don't think it's just because it's Arizona in Arizona. Every time they play any team against the AFC East up to this point, they play Buffalo tough. They play Miami tough. I don't think they play the Patriots yet.
No, that's going to be in Foxborough.
Yeah, that's in Foxborough. So yeah.
And they got to play the Jets in the Meadowlands.
Yeah. So.
Well, they already played the Jets actually.
Yeah, and I think
won that.
And they won that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, because the Jets are terrible. So.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. And for Seattle, keep an eye on them too. They're no slouches. Yeah, they lost to Buffalo close. That was a close. Well, no, it wasn't really that much of a close loss.
44-34.
Yeah, that wasn't really that much of a close loss.
For the Rams.
They did beat Miami, and that was a close game. Yep. Like I think Miami could have won that game too. So I don't know. We'll see.
All right. So but a fun game nonetheless. Seattle getting the win. So the West continues to be the best division in the NFL, the NFC West. I mean, much more better than the NFC least, but it is what it is. All right. So with that being said, let's get into our first game of this upcoming week. We got another biggie. This could have been the game of the week, but because of the records, it's down to the number 2 spot for us, for our side, but it's still a good one though. It's a rematch of the AFC divisional playoff game from back in January of this year. The Tennessee Titans squaring off against the Baltimore Ravens. Same location, M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. Hello, friends. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson. They're going to have the call. And Baltimore opening up as a 6.5-point favorite. The all-time series is tied 10-10. And last meeting, obviously, was the divisional game, obviously. Regular season game was 2018 in Nashville. Baltimore won going away 21-0. Ravens haven't beaten the Titans at home since 2014. That was a 21-7 final. So with all that being said, let's get started here with what should be a great matchup here with the Titans and the Ravens. You know the routine, what to watch for, bold predictions, stat to know, what to know for fantasy, the betting nugget, the FPI, and all that stuff. So here we go. What to watch for. Can the Ravens run defense stop Titans running back Derrick Henry? Henry ran for 195 yards against Baltimore in the playoff game last January and will face a rush defense that probably won't have nose tackle Brandon Williams. In the Ravens' past 7 games without Williams, they have allowed an average of 165.1 yards rushing. Bold prediction, Henry will run for more than 150 yards and score 2 touchdowns. The Titans know what it takes to get into a rhythm, giving Henry the football. This is one of those times when they have to rely on Henry to set the tone and carry the team to a much-needed win. Stat to know, Baltimore quarterback Lamar Jackson is completing just 38.8% of his passes, thrown 15-plus yards downfield this season, 26th out of 33 qualified quarterbacks in the NFL. Last weekend against New England, Jackson was 1 for 6 for 18 yards on such throws. What to know for fantasy? The Titans have failed to score more than 20 points in 3 of wide receiver A.J. Brown's 7 games this season. In those instances, Brown has yet to top 40 yards and is averaging just 8.1 fantasy points a game. Betting nugget, when quarterback Ryan Tannehill starts regular season games for Tennessee, overs are 16-3, including 7-2 this season. Baltimore is the FPI favorite, 68.4%. So I am going to go with the Baltimore Ravens to get their revenge in this one. I'm going to go 28-24. Baltimore gets their revenge on Tennessee. So really nothing more to say. MF, I mean, this could have been our game, but because of the record of the other one, it just misses and it's in the 2 spot. But nonetheless, rematch of the divisional game. Does Baltimore get their revenge, or does Tennessee make it 2 for 2? As they got to stop, they got to get going too, because they're on a little bit of they're in a bit of a rut right now.
Yeah, they are definitely in a little bit of a rut right now. No, I think Baltimore is going to win this game. I think Baltimore is definitely the better team. I think they're just gonna kind of turn it around here. So no, I got the Baltimore Ravens winning this game. So Anthony, it's yours.
All right. Moving on to our next matchup here. This will be over on Fox. We got the Detroit Lions squaring off against the Carolina Panthers at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. This is over on Fox. We got Kevin Kugler, Chris Spielman, and Laura Oakman. They'll be there. And Detroit opening as a 2.5-point favorite. Carolina leads the all-time series 6-3. Carolina's won the last 3 meetings in a row. Their last meeting was 2 years ago in Detroit. Carolina won that one. Their last meeting in Charlotte, though, was in 2014. Carolina won 24-7. Lions have only won once in Charlotte, and that was all the way back in their very first meeting in 1999. 24-9 was the final there. So MF, Detroit, Carolina, 2 struggling teams. Who wins in this somewhat meaningless game here?
Somewhat meaningless game, but I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions. Look, Carolina's not going to have Christian McCaffrey again. You got to rely on Mike Davis. That's going to be one factor. 2, Matthew Stafford's going to play in this game. He's going to be one of the quality guys that you're going to want. You're going to want Adrian Peterson to establish himself. And just overall, just honestly, I kind of feel like the better team is actually Detroit. Regardless of the record and the way that they've been playing all year long, I believe this is now they're going to get into an area where Detroit actually has a very favorable schedule coming up. So if they win this game, they might start having an opportunity where there's some games coming up where they're going to be favorites. And on top of that, these are the games that you need to make count. Because right now, we're not talking about divisional, but division's probably out of the race. But the wild card, because of the fact that this year we get 3 wild card teams, not the traditional 2, but a 3rd wild card team could get in. Games like this is very important for a team like Detroit because they're right now at 4-5. A win here makes them 5-5 at 500, and with the way that the rest of the conference is at this moment, if you are right now looking at this, you really want to make the most of it because, like I said, the wild card is very important now, more than ever before, and you're only 2 games out of a wild card spot. A win here will put you at 5-5, and you're literally going to be 1 game out. Very, very, very important for the Detroit Lions, and I think they will get the job done. They will win this game on Sunday. So I got nothing more to say. Give me the Detroit Lions to win it. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. It's hang on, let me see. All right. What to watch for? Will either team get enough pressure on the quarterback to disrupt the other's offense? Particularly the Lions, since there's some question on whom Carolina might start at quarterback. Even if Teddy Bridgewater plays, his sprained knee might limit his mobility. Neither team has been very good at producing sacks. The Panthers rank 27th in the league with 11, and the Lions are 25th with 13. Bold prediction, Lions running back Adrian Peterson will have 75 yards rushing and a touchdown in a vintage outing against the Carolina run defense, allowing 124.5 yards a game and 4.77 yards a carry. With DeAndre Swift potentially missing this one, Peterson will get some workload help from Kerryon Johnson and Jamal Agnew out of the backfield. Stat to know, Detroit wide receiver Marvin Jones has a receiving touchdown in 3 straight games, tied for the longest streak of his career, weeks 6 to 8 of 2013. He is fresh off an 8-catch, 96-yard receiving day versus Washington in week 10. What to know for fantasy? No defense is allowing more receiving yards per game to running backs than the Lions, 53.7. And Panthers running back Mike Davis has hauled in 87% of his targets this season. Fun fact, there has yet to be a game this season in which multiple Davis targets hit the ground. Betting nugget, Carolina is 1-4 against the spread at home this season. Carolina is the FPI favorite, 51.7%. So I'm not sure about this one. I'm gonna take a chance here, and I mean, it all depends on Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, it all depends if he plays. If he plays, then I like Carolina's chances. If he doesn't, then I got to go with Detroit. So for right now, I suppose I'll go with Carolina, but this is a reluctant pick more than anything else. 27-23. That's what I'll give it. So there's really nothing more to say here. Let's move on to our next matchup. Philadelphia Eagles squaring off against the Cleveland Browns at First Energy Stadium in Cleveland, the Dog Pound, and this game will be over on Fox. And we're getting this game on our local Fox affiliate, Fox Providence here. It's going to be Adam Amin with Mark Schlereth and Lindsey Zarniak. And a lot of history between these two teams, dating back to the old days. Cleveland leads the all-time series 31-17 with a tie. But Philly has won the last 5 meetings in a row with the Cleveland Browns. Last meeting in Cleveland was 2012. Philly won 17-16. The Browns have not beaten the Eagles at home since all the way back in 1988. That was a 19-3 final in that one. And Cleveland is opening up as a 2.5-point favorite. I forgot to mention that. So what to watch for? Can Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz, who has thrown as many interceptions this season as touchdowns, get anything going? He will have to take care of the ball in what figures to be another bad weather game in Cleveland. Bold prediction, the Browns will score a defensive touchdown. Outside of last weekend's game against the Giants, Wentz has been very giving with the football, turning it over 16 times. Cleveland is tied for 4th with 15 takeaways and will take one to the house on Sunday. Stat to know, Cleveland quarterback Baker Mayfield has 0 passing touchdowns in each of his past 2 games. That's his longest streak without a passing touchdown since going 3 straight games without one at Texas Tech in 2013. He also has fewer than 150 passing yards in these past 2 games for the longest such streak of his career, NFL and college. What to know for fantasy? Both Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb have been top 22 running backs in 3 of their 4 fully healthy games together this season for Cleveland. Betting nugget, the Browns have failed to cover in each of their past 4 games. Cleveland, slight FPI favorite, 51.9%, just about 52% going with Cleveland. I'm going with Cleveland as well. My final score, 30-20. Cleveland knocks off Philadelphia, snaps that long losing streak, and beats the Eagles at home for the first time since all the way back in 1988 when they did it in the old Dog Pound of Municipal Stadium. So not much more to say on this, MF. Cleveland, this has been a surprising year for them. Can they keep it going, or will it be fly, Eagles, fly in Cleveland?
No, I look, I don't know what it is with any team in the NFC East. They just been so bad. I think Cleveland's is gonna continue their run. I mean, I think they finally figured it out. I think after all these years, they finally have put it all together. And I really think Cleveland is starting to play like the team that we thought they should have been a year ago. Remember, a year ago they made all these big moves and we're thinking, oh my God, This is a team that could challenge for the division. This could team challenge maybe a playoff team. Make some noise. I don't think Super Bowl was really in their cards, but we thought they were good enough to at least make the postseason. Well, it fell flat on their faces. They were horrible. Everything went wrong. It was weak. They had infighting. There was a whole bunch of problems. All of a sudden now, Cleveland looks like the team that we thought that they were going to be a year ago. Now they're starting to look like that team, and now we're like, uh-oh. Whoa, Cleveland, welcome to the party now. So, we'll see what happens. At the end of the day, the Browns are going to win it. I got no doubts in my mind. Anthony, it's yours.
All right. Next matchup, back on our side of the ledger, we have the New England Patriots squaring off against the Houston Texans from NRG, formerly Reliant Stadium in Houston. Over on CBS with Andrew Catalan, James Lofton, and AJ Ross. And New England opening up as a 2-point favorite. New England leads the all-time series 8-2. Houston won. These two teams played in Houston last year. I believe that was on a Sunday night. And Houston actually won the game 28-22, snapping a very lengthy losing streak to the Patriots. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, including playoffs. They had previously lost 8 in a row before that win last year, including postseason. And the Texans have they've only beaten them twice. Last year was one. The other was 2009. That was a 34-27 final. But Houston won the last meeting 28-22. So a lot of backstory here. MF, I mean, New England. They started hot, then they ended up getting into a major rut, but they have snapped out of it. That big come-from-behind win against the Jets a couple of Mondays ago. And then last Sunday night, a vintage New England Patriots game, cold, rain, heavy, gusty winds. And that's why they beat the Baltimore Ravens. Can they keep it going?
Hey, first off, let's be realistic here. They won that game. Baltimore did not play their best football. So let's not do that. Let's not throw any hay. Let's not try to discount what the Patriots did.
I could have said one of the reasons why.
Well, I was going to say one of the reasons why. But here's the other thing. They went back and played it the Patriot way. Defense, running the football, letting Cam Newton just do a little bit of plays, not a lot, but let him open the playbook, give him the opportunities, and then that's exactly what they were doing. What they were doing was they lost their identity the last few weeks. I'm going to say it like this. Last week was vintage New England Patriot football. For all those people that thought that the demise of the Patriots is here and now, they're not giving up. And let me tell you, now they're going up against a Houston Texan team that does not look good, that doesn't play good, the whole 9 yards. I'm sorry. New England's going to win again. It's going to be 3 in a row for the Patriots. And they're slowly going to start creeping back into the AFC, at least in the divisional race. They're going to start to creep back into it. So, Miami, Buffalo, keep your eyes open. The Patriots might be coming. The footsteps are not loud. Not yet. But if they start getting into a roll, look out, guys. You might want to start looking in the rearview mirror because the Patriots could be coming back. And if they start coming back, look out. Here we go. Nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, and remember, when we did our NFL preview show, MF, you went on the record and said, despite all this, you still had New England winning the division. So you might be right.
I might be right. If they, because that's the thing. I don't know what it was. I really thought that the way that New England was stacked up. But here's the thing. This was all before all the COVID thing happened. This was before all the opt-outs happened. So obviously now you got the fear of that New England will not win it. But slowly but surely, if Miami starts losing games, if Buffalo starts losing games, and if they start to fall back and bring themselves down to where New England has a chance to catch them, that's when I start worrying. Right now, New England is in a real world of hurt, and even in the FPI, the Power Football Index that you talk about, Anthony, that you use religiously. Right now,
Yeah.
Buffalo has the best odds of winning the division at 73%. They gave
Wow.
New England 4%. A 4% chance as of now to win the AFC East.
Definitely something to consider there. But anyways, getting into this on my end, what to watch for: Patriots cornerback J.C. Jackson has intercepted a pass in 5 consecutive games, the longest streak since Reggie Nelson in 2015. According to research by ESPN Stats and Information, if Jackson intercepts a pass on Sunday, he would match the longest interception streak since the 1970 AFL-NFL merger, done most recently by Brian Russell in 2003. But while Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson has thrown 5 interceptions this season, he has not thrown one since week 5. Bold prediction: New England running back Damian Harris will rush for 200 yards against the NFL's 32nd ranked rush defense. The Texans are allowing an average of 167.4 rushing yards a game, which means quarterback Cam Newton and a Patriots offense that has transformed itself into a power running machine have a chance to feast. Stat to know: the Patriots have a 75.7 offensive efficiency over the past 3 weeks, 4th in the NFL during that span. It's a vast improvement from the team's 44.1 offensive efficiency in the first 7 weeks, which was 27th. Newton, who is seeking his first 3-game winning streak as a starting quarterback since weeks 7 to 9 of 2018, has a 76.9% completion percentage over his past 2 games, tops in the league over that time. What to know for fantasy? Complaining about the Patriots' backfield in fantasy needs to stop. Over the past month, Harris has accounted for 74% of New England's running back rushing yards and faces fantasy's worst run defense in terms of stopping running backs. And let's also not forget, Sony Michel's coming back too. They just activated him. Betting nugget: Houston is 2-7 against the spread this season, tied with the Jets for the second worst against the spread mark in the NFL. New England is a slight FPI favorite, not much, 51.3%. Very close. But I am going to go with the New England Patriots as well. I think they'll get it done. I think Houston will give them a game, but I think New England will ultimately find a way to win, like they always do, or like they did previously. 24-20, New England beats Houston. So really nothing more to say. One of the Zonk games of the week over on our end here. We got the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers squaring off against the 1-win Jacksonville Jaguars, TIAA Field at Everbank Field in Jacksonville, right near Daly's Place, a la AEW. So we have that. And we have Ian Eagle, Charles Davis, and Evan Washburn on the call. Pittsburgh is tied for the biggest spread of this week. There's one other team that has this same exact spread as the Steelers do. Pittsburgh is opening up as a 10-point favorite, which means there's another team opening up as a 10-point favorite, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, here you go. A little bit of a spoiler alert for all you Miami Dolphin fans like MF and Eric Carrier and all you other Dolphin fans out there. 72 team, I'm just going to warn you in advance. You're going to have to wait at least one more week to pop that bubbly. So, sorry. But anyways, what to watch for? Jaguars rookie quarterback Jake Luton is making his third start and facing the league's best pass rush. The Steelers lead the NFL with 36 sacks and are tied for second with 11 interceptions, led by TJ Watt and Bud Dupree. If the Jaguars are going to be able to stay close and potentially pull the upset, it's going to fall heavily on offensive tackles Cam Robinson and Jawan Taylor, keeping Watt and Dupree off Luton and giving him enough time to get the ball out. Bold prediction: the Steelers will hold rookie running back James Robinson to 50 yards or fewer. Robinson has earned high praise from the Steelers coaches and players leading into this matchup, and with good reason. He's averaging 109 yards a game in the past 3 games, but the Steelers look to be back at nearly full strength in the run defense with the return of Tyson Alualo with a knee a week ago and Mike Hilton with a shoulder, trending toward playing this week. Without the pair, the Steelers' run defense was woeful against the Cowboys and Ravens, but it'll be motivated to prove it is an elite unit when healthy. Stat to know, when the 9-0 Steelers and 1-8 Jaguars meet Sunday, it'll match the 6th largest differential in win percentage in Week 10 or later in the Super Bowl era, excluding strike-shortened seasons. The Jaguars have allowed at least 24 points in 8 consecutive games this season, their longest streak of allowing 24-plus points in franchise history. On the other side, the Steelers have scored 24-plus in all 9 of their games this season, tied with the Saints for most in the NFL. What to know for fantasy? Robinson has just 3 yards on 7 targets over the past 2 weeks after posting more than 7 yards a target earlier this season. A return to versatility is almost essential this weekend against the NFL's best defense in terms of running back fantasy points allowed. Betting nugget, Pittsburgh is 1-10 against the spread as a double-digit road favorite under coach Mike Tomlin with 4 outright losses. Pittsburgh, a huge FPI favorite, 85.8%, just about 86%, going with Pittsburgh in this one. I'm going with Pittsburgh in this one. Easy win for them. 35-17, Pittsburgh all over Jacksonville. So sorry, 72 Dolphins. You're going to have to wait at least another week to pop that little bit of the bub there. Ain't I right, MF?
Yeah, no. I for Pittsburgh, this is now. Yeah, you guys start thinking about it. You're really gonna start thinking long and hard that this could be your moment. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're starting to think that we actually now have a shot at this. With just with a few games left on the schedule. Obviously, Jacksonville is the next game. Then you got Baltimore on Thanksgiving night. That could be huge for them. Then Washington, then Buffalo. Buffalo could be the ones that could stop the Steelers and could preserve the 72 Dolphin record.
Hey, they beat them last year on a Sunday night. So, they could do it again, and that could be our game too.
That could, because the game is in Buffalo, so we could see. We'll find out. But at the end of the day, we'll find out. But right now, I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh to win this game. Yeah, nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Now, the next game we have is a divisional game, and MF. I just want to be sure. Is this the first or second meeting for the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints?
This is the first meeting.
That's what I thought. Okay, I just wanted to be sure on that. So, okay. Next matchup, Atlanta Falcons squaring off against the New Orleans Saints from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans on Fox. Kevin Burkhardt, Daryl Moose Johnston, Pam Oliver will be there for it. And the spread is favoring New Orleans by 3.5. And in the series history, we know there's a lot of history between these two heated rivals here, dating back to the old NFC West and now in the NFC South. Series history favors the Atlanta Falcons by a count of 52-49. And they split both meetings last year. Both teams won at home. Well, actually, no, both teams went on the road. Atlanta won in New Orleans last year, 26-9. Saints beat the Falcons at home previous year, 2018. That was a 31-17 final. So, MF, we know what the big headline is. Drew Brees injured. And I found this on, as I was watching the college football today, I found this on the bottom line. Very alarming what I saw. Drew Brees suffered 11 fractured ribs.
Yeah.
11 fractured ribs. Oh, God bless you, Drew Brees.
Yeah, it was that's a bad injury.
Taysom Hill. And Taysom Hill's going to be the starter.
Yep, Taysom Hill is the starter. He'll be the one to do it.
Over Jameis Winston.
I gotta say it's there's nothing more to say. So, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to watch. It's going to be very interesting to see the whole 9 yards. And at the end of the day, I'm going to call it. I'm going to say that this is the game where Atlanta could win. Honestly, they
Sure.
definitely have a great chance at this. This is the one game and the one moment where Atlanta could steal it from New Orleans. Uh, Taysom Hill is a good quarterback. He is a mobile quarterback, so anything can happen. But at the end of the day, man, this is going to be tough to call. But I mean, um, I believe New Orleans is going to win it, but I'm not convinced. I'm not 100% on this. So I'll go with New Orleans, but Anthony, it's yours.
Well, hopefully the notes that I'm about to, the numbers and schematics I'm about to pass down on you, MF. Hopefully this will encourage you a bit. What to watch for? Taysom Hill will make his debut as a starting quarterback in the NFL with Drew Brees sidelined by broken ribs and a punctured lung. Oh boy. The Saints' choice of Hill is certainly surprising considering fellow backup Jameis Winston played most of the second half last week and has far more experience. But the Saints and coach Sean Payton have never made it any secret about their belief that Hill could be a successful NFL quarterback despite the fact that he is a run-first player who has attempted only 20 career passes, including the playoffs. That makes this one of the NFL's most fascinating matchups of the week, as New Orleans tries to keep a 6-game winning streak alive against its biggest rival. Bold prediction, Hill will not just throw his first career NFL touchdown on Sunday. He'll throw multiple touchdown passes. Hill, who has been used mainly in run situations, has attempted only 18 passes in his NFL career, but Peyton will call plays to show that Hill can be effective with his arm too. Stat to know, the Falcons are 3-1 under interim coach Raheem Morris after an 0-5 start under Dan Quinn. They have the third best offensive efficiency, 78.8 in the NFL since week 6, trailing only the Kansas City Chiefs at 89.8 and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 79. In those first 5 weeks, they were 21st at 59.2. What to know for fantasy? Atlanta quarterback Matt Ryan will look to establish some fantasy consistency with a healthy roster. This season, Ryan has as many finishes as a top 8 quarterback as he does weeks outside the top 20, 3 apiece. Betting nugget, Atlanta is 7-1 against the spread in its past 8 road games. New Orleans is actually a decent FPI favorite. They're a 73.5% favorite. And I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints to win this one, but it's not going to be easy. I'm going to say 26-20. New Orleans knocks off Atlanta. So really nothing more to say on that one. So let's move on to our final early game here. And this is another one of our meh games of the week on our side here, one of our lower tier games here. Cincinnati Bengals squaring off against the Washington football team from FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland, over on CBS with Spiro Dedes and Adam Archuleta. Cincinnati leads the all-time series 5-4 with a tie. Their last meeting 4 years ago, it was in London, and that's where we had the tie, 27-27 in jolly old England 4 years ago. But even with the tie, the Bengals have won the last 3 meetings in a row against the Washington football team, including in Washington, 38-31 in 2012. The Redskins have not beaten the Bengals at home since 1985, 27-24, and that was at the old RFK Stadium. So that's really all there is to say there. So Washington is opening up as a 1.5-point favorite. So this is going to be another tough one to call, but let's get into the numbers here. What to watch for? Washington's offense has come alive of late, surpassing 400 yards in consecutive games. It hasn't topped that total in 3 straight games since weeks 15 to 17 of the 2015 season. But the Bengals allowed 398.7 yards a game. It'll be interesting to see how well Washington runs the ball. It ranks 30th in rushing yards a game and 28th in yards to carry, but Cincinnati ranks 27th in yards allowed a game and 31st in yards allowed to carry. Bold prediction, Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow will pass for 300-plus yards. While it might not look bold on the surface, Washington enters Sunday's game with the top passing defense in the NFL. It'll be a good test for Burrow, who is coming off a rough game against the Steelers last week. Stat to know, Washington wide receiver Terry McLaurin quietly has at least 7 receptions in 4 consecutive games, the longest streak by a Washington player in the past 70 seasons, and tied with Green Bay's Davante Adams for the longest active streak in the NFL. What to know for fantasy? Washington running back J.D. McKissick is averaging 6.2 catches per game over his past 6, including 16 grabs on 29 targets in the 2 games led primarily by quarterback Alex Smith. Cincinnati is 0-17-1 outright in its past 18 road games, but it is 11-7 against the spread in those games in the betting nugget. FPI prediction, Washington is the FPI favorite, 56.2%. Tough one to call here, but I'm going to take a chance here, and I'm going to go with the Washington football team to win this one. I'm going to say 23-21. Washington beats Cincinnati, but I would not at all be surprised if Cincinnati won this one. So it is a tough one to call, though. So nothing more to say. MF, Cincinnati, Washington, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this one's a tough game to call, no doubt about it. But I gotta go with Washington to win it as well. I really got nothing more to add. So Anthony, it's yours.
We move to the late. I'm sorry, MF. Well, actually, hold on. No, this is not the song game of the week is not next. It will be in a minute, but it's only fitting because MF will get the lead off on the next one because it's his team. And what a job they have been doing. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the red hot Miami Dolphins, and boy, howdy, have they been white hot as of late. The Miami Dolphins squaring off against the Denver Broncos at Sports Authority Field at Mile High in Denver. 4:05 kickoff over on the mothership here of CBS. It'll be Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, and the lovely Melanie Collins on the call. And the series history, well, actually, no. Good news, MF. Your Dolphins are opening up as 4-point favorites, so it's a 4-point favorite spread for Miami. And Miami leads the all-time series with Denver, 12-5 with a tie. Miami won the last meeting, 2017. That was in Miami, 35-9. Dolphins won all day going away. Last time they met in Denver, oh my goodness, it was a fun-ass game, let me tell you. 2014, Denver won a 5-star classic, 39-36. The Dolphins last won in Denver in 2008, 26-17 was the final there. That ironically was also the last year they went on to win the AFC East. So, all right, MF, your Dolphins. I mean, they are in a very, very good spot right now. I mean, they had a tough game with the Chargers, but they pulled it out. Your next 3 games, when we talked about this behind the scenes, I mean, you got Denver coming, you got Denver here, and then I know you got to go up against New England down the line, and you got Cincinnati. You don't really see a tough game until Mahomes and the champs come in on December 13th. But MF, your red hot Dolphins, and I don't even need to ask. I already know what the answer is going to be. They're going to keep it going, aren't they?
Well, obviously you hope for it. You hope for it. But this is Denver. This is Mile High. This is a trap game. I mean, let's be realistic. Denver's defense can definitely get to the quarterback. You know, we're going into Denver, which is a virtual unknown. So you never know how this plays out. This is definitely a scary game. But I do believe Miami can turn it because they got the quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa. We got a running attack. I think with Ahmad. We got him. We got receivers. We got a defense. The defense is what's been stepping up for Miami. The one thing that Miami was always getting slammed for was their defensive play. When is the defense going to step up? When are they going to rise up? Why, our defense has been so bad for so many years. Well, 2020, we got a defense. The number 1 scoring defense in the NFL right now. On top of that, we also got a defense that has gotten a turnover in 21 consecutive games. Dating back to last year, we've had at least 1 turnover in all these games. So without a doubt, Miami can get to them. It doesn't matter if it's Drew Lock or Jeff Driscoll, we could get to the quarterback. What we're going to need to do is shut down the running game. You got Melvin Gordon, you got Phillip Lindsay. That's a 2-headed monster. We got to figure that out. We got to stop that. On top of that, our offense, it's just got to continue to play. Tua Tagovailoa's been amazing. Now, he hasn't been perfect. He's made some mistakes, rookie mistakes. He's made some mistakes here and there. That's fine. But we need to make the right plays. We need to make the right moments, and everything needs to count. At the end of the day, I believe the Miami Dolphins will definitely win this game. This will be 6 in a row for the Miami Dolphins, and more importantly, this will get the Dolphins into a first-place tie with the Buffalo Bills on top of the AFC East.
This is true. However, Mr. Dolphin, who's got the head-to-head? Who's got the head-to-head?
Oh no, we know. You guys got 2 head-to-heads on us. One, you beat us earlier in the year. That's fine, no problem. You also got the divisional record on top of that. So we know. We gotta beat you guys. In order for us to win, we gotta beat you outright.
You gotta steal one.
You gotta steal one. No,
in Buffalo.
Not really steal. No, not really. We just gotta win out all of our remaining divisional games, and then we need for you guys to trip up somewhere along the way. Either lose to New England, which that's possible, because the next time out you got to go to Gillette, and we already know you guys do horrible in Gillette.
Yes.
Or you guys got to fall to us in week 17. Now, I know that's a tough game, and I will openly admit that's a tough game, because going to Buffalo, that's not a gimme, but we have done it. We have done it. We have beaten you on a week 17 in Buffalo. So it's definitely possible.
Don't remind me.
So, we got a shot at it. We got a chance.
Yes, you do.
So no, don't worry. I'm not one of those that's saying, "Oh, we got this." We still got a long way to go.
Yes, we do.
But just like Buffalo, we need another Arizona to happen. We need you boys to trip up along the way. That'll give us the opportunity to take first place, and then it's basically don't look back.
Yep.
So that's all I'm saying. Miami's got to win, but that's the thing. This is a trap game. I don't want to think about Buffalo right now. You guys are in our rearview mirror. Yep. We're thinking about Denver on Sunday. That's what we need to do.
One game at a time.
Exactly.
One game at a time. So I will give you that. But let's keep in mind, though, since 2012, your Dolphins are 1-7 in Buffalo. We've beaten you boys 3 years in a row in Buffalo. Miami hasn't won in Buffalo since 2016. That infamous 34-31 overtime game, and that was a weather game, and you guys stole one there. We'll give you all the credit in the world, but hey, I mean, I'm impressed. I am very impressed with your Dolphins, MF. I mean, when you guys started 1-3, I'm thinking this is gonna be a cakewalk for us. We're gonna win this thing going away. Oh boy. No, nah, honey, that hasn't happened. Dolphins have turned it up. They've won 5 in a row, and I think it's very likely they'll make it 6. And that week 17 game, Buffalo, around New Year's or so, that game could determine who will win the AFC East. Could it be Miami's first since 2008, since the days of the late great Tony Sparano, or will it be for the Buffalo Bills and our long-suffering fans, 25 years of heartbreak down the drain, which is what I've been wanting to put down there for a long time. But anywho, let's get into this. What to watch for? Just how often will the Broncos turn the ball over? They have lost 5 fumbles and thrown a league-leading 16 interceptions. There's some encouragement there, MF. The Dolphins are tied for 4th in the league in takeaways and have confused, in particular, the young quarterbacks they faced. Keep an eye on the Broncos' offense and the 3 wide receiver set, as all 16 interceptions have come from that this season. Bold prediction, the Dolphins will produce 5 or more sacks and multiple turnovers against the Broncos' offense. Miami's multiple defense has frustrated offenses and quarterbacks all season, but has only one game with 5+ sacks. That was the win in San Francisco. That changes this weekend, whether it's a limited Drew Lock, who threw 4 interceptions last week, or a backup under center, as the Dolphins defense continues its ball-snatching ways while making it a rough day for Denver. Stat to know, Miami's Tua Tagovailoa is seeking to become the fifth AFC quarterback to win his first 4 career starts over the past 30 years. Listen to this lineup, MF. Drew Brees in 2002, Ben Roethlisberger in 2004, Trevor Siemian in 2016, and Patrick Mahomes in 2017-18. He also has already joined Damon Huard. Oh, wow, that's a name out of the past. Damon Huard as the only Dolphin quarterbacks to win their first 3 career starts and would be the first Dolphin to win his first 4. Tagovailoa has 5 touchdowns and 0 interceptions through 3 starts, joining Carson Wentz as the only rookie quarterbacks to win their first 3 starts and throw 0 picks in the Super Bowl era since 1966. No rookie quarterback has achieved that feat over his first 4 starts during that span. What to know for fantasy? Week 4 was the most recent time Melvin Gordon had a touch gaining more than 11 yards. That was also the most recent time the Denver running back ranked inside the top 20 at the position for a week. The name value and recognition far outweigh what he is giving your fantasy roster. Betting nugget, Miami is 7-2 against the spread this season, tied with Pittsburgh for the best against the spread mark in the NFL. Miami, slight FPI favorite, 53.2% for Miami. But nonetheless, I'm going with the Dolphins. They're going to keep it going, I think. 27-16, Miami beats Denver. So keep those winning ways going. All right, Miami, as that radio announcer would say. So, all right. Now we go on to the Zonk game of the week. Oofa, is this going to be terrible? The winless New York Jets squaring off against the 2-win Los Angeles Chargers at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. The legendary Greg Gumbel, Rich Gannon, and Jay Feely, they will be on the call for that one. Feel bad for those guys, but nonetheless, just went the wrong way on that one. All right. There we go. All right. Spread. Do you remember when I said there were 2 teams that had the big spread? Pittsburgh was one of them. The LA Chargers are the other one. They're also 10-point favorites against the Jets on Sunday. Chargers lead the all-time series 22-12 with a tie, and the Chargers have won the last 3 meetings in a row with the Jets. Their last meeting was 2017 in New York. Chargers won 14-7. Chargers won their last home game against the Jets 2014, 31-0. The Jets have not won at the Chargers since an AFC divisional playoff game in January of 2010, 17-14. Their last regular season win in San Diego was 2004. That was a 34-28 win. So there's really not much more to say on this. So let's get into the Zonk game of the week. What to watch for? The Jets, who are looking to 35-year-old Joe Flacco in place of an injured Sam Darnold, are 0-6 in games started by QBs other than Darnold since the start of last season. They're 7-12 with Darnold. The Chargers, meanwhile, will be looking to avoid their first 2-8 starts since 2015. Quarterback play shouldn't be a concern for them, though, as Justin Herbert has thrown multiple touchdowns in 6 consecutive games, the longest streak by a rookie in NFL history, per Elias Sports Bureau research, and is the only rookie in Chargers history with at least 4 300-yard passing games in a season. The Jets will need to find a way to contain Herbert's big arm if they want to enter the win column this weekend. Bold prediction, Herbert will set a career high for passing yardage, meaning he will go north of 347 on the day. The Jets' pass defense is awful, and there's a good chance it'll be breaking in a new set of cornerbacks. Cornerback 1, Pierre Desir, was cut this week, and CB2, Bless Austin, could sit out with a neck injury. The Jets could wind up starting 3 rookies in the secondary. Have at it, Justin. Stat to know, all 7 of the Chargers' losses this season have been 1-score games. That is tied for the most in the team's first 9 games in NFL history, per research by the Elias Sports Bureau. 2015 Baltimore Ravens, 1983 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and 1944 Brooklyn Tigers. What to know for fantasy? Chargers tight end Hunter Henry has seen at least 6 targets in 4 of his past 5 games. And while the production has been spotty, don't forget that he ranks as a per-game top 10 player at the position among healthy options. Betting nugget, 6 straight Los Angeles games have gone over the total, and the over is 6-2 when Herbert starts. Chargers, the FPI favorite, 69.9%. That's about 70% going with the Chargers. I'm going with the Chargers too. Easy win for the Chargers. They'll finally get off the schneid here. It's not going to come down to no last second or anything like that. This will be an easy one for them. 31-14, LA Chargers all over the Jets. So, MF, your thoughts on our Zonk game of the week, the Jets and the Chargers at SoFi?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chargers as well. I mean, this was definitely they played them tough. I'm gonna give them a lot of credit where credit was due, but I do believe that the Chargers will bounce back. They'll get a big win here, so there's really nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
All right, the 425 games now, and we move on to Fox's America's Game of the Week. And this one is going to be a fun one. The Green Bay Packers squaring off against the Indianapolis Colts, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis on Fox. The A team will be there. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, and Aaron Andrews. They will be in Indy for this one. And the spread favors the Indianapolis, the Colts. The Colts are opening up as 2-point favorites. That's a little surprising, but okay. Series history, it actually favors the Indianapolis Colts, 22-20 with a tie. Their last meet, and matter of fact, the Colts have won the last 2 meetings with the Packers, including their last meeting in Lambeau, 20-16. There was their last meeting. They met in Lambeau, and Indy stole one, 31-26. And the Colts also beat the Packers in their last game in Indy in 2012. That was a 30-27 final. This is very interesting. Since they were the Baltimore Colts, since they moved to Indianapolis, and I believe it was 84, the Green Bay Packers have never won in Indianapolis. They haven't won at the Colts since they were the Baltimore Colts all the way back in 1974, 20-13. That's the last time. And so very interesting here. MF, America's Game of the Week on Fox, Green Bay Packers, Indianapolis Colts. I told you to watch for this game when we did our schedule release. I told you to watch for this game, and sure enough, I was right.
Yeah, you're absolutely were right. This was a game that I think honestly going in, we thought that maybe, but yeah, no, they've played the right way. They played an honorable way. They played great football up to this point. Green Bay had a couple of hiccups there. Indy coming off a huge win last week. Now something's got to give. I got to go with Green Bay, though. I don't know why. I just feel like Green Bay is just the better team. I think they'll make enough plays to get the job done. So for me, give me the Green Bay Packers to win the game. I got nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, and can Indy keep that momentum going after that huge win in Nashville a couple of Thursdays ago when they took over first in the AFC South by virtue of that win? So we'll wait and see. So here we go. What to watch for? Buckle up for the Colts' number 1 defense and the Packers' number 6 offense. Colts coach Frank Reich said Green Bay will be the toughest test of the season so far for his defense. But the Colts will also be the second top 3 defense the Packers have faced this season. Tampa Bay, which is number 3 in the NFL in total defense, held Green Bay to 201 total yards, sacked Aaron Rodgers 5 times, forced 2 turnovers, and gave up only 10 points to the Packers earlier this season. Bold prediction, Indianapolis quarterback Phillip Rivers will outplay Green Bay's Aaron Rodgers. Rivers was efficient against the Packers defense last season, and the Colts elite defense will give Rodgers fits just like the Bucs did in Tampa earlier this season. Stat to know, Rodgers leads the NFL with an 84.8 total QBR this season and has 3 games with 300-plus passing yards and 4-plus passing touchdowns, tied with Patrick Mahomes for the most such games. Oh, and he is 4-0 and is averaging 296.5 passing yards a game with 9 passing scores in his past 4 games played at indoor stadiums dating back to last season. What to know for fantasy? You might have missed Marquez Valdez-Scantling's big Week 10, but be careful. Yes, the Packers wide receiver has 3 games with more than 19 fantasy points this season, but he also has 3 games with fewer than 3.5 and is facing the 7th best defense against fantasy receivers. Betting nugget under coach Matt LaFleur, Green Bay is 5-1 outright and against the spread as a road underdog. Green Bay opening up as an FPI favorite, 54.1%. I would not at all be surprised if Indy were to win this, but I have to go with Green Bay as well. High scoring game. I think Green Bay will come out on top, though, 30-24. Green Bay will win in Indianapolis for the first time. So really nothing more to say here. Let's move on to the other 425 game over on Fox. one of the NFC's all-time great rivalries dating back to the 70s and whatnot. Maybe not the same as it was back in the 70s, but usually it's fun when these two get together, but probably not so much this time. We got the Dallas Cowboys squaring off against the Minnesota Vikings at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis with Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, and Shannon Spake. Minnesota opening up as a 7-point favorite, and the series history is tied at 12 apiece, 12-12 between these two. They met in Dallas last year. Minnesota won 28-24. Last meeting in Minnesota was 2016. Dallas won 17-15. Vikings haven't beaten the Cowboys at home since 2010. That was a 24-21 final. So let's get into this. Dallas and Minnesota. What to watch for? How will the Vikings manage Dalvin Cook's workload? You might expect Minnesota to lean heavy on its star running back, given it is facing a Dallas defense that is allowing the second most rushing yards a game. But there's a caveat, and it has to do with preserving Cook for teams that will be more difficult to beat. If the Vikings have a commanding lead at any point, do we see more of backup Alexander Mattison, or perhaps more of quarterback Kirk Cousins airing it out to rookie wide receiver Justin Jefferson? After all, Minnesota is averaging 424.5 yards a game at home, while Dallas' secondary is allowing opposing quarterbacks a 103.1 passer rating. This should be a big day for Cousins and his receivers. Bold prediction, Dallas running back Ezekiel Elliott will have his first 100-yard game of the season. He was limited to 47 yards on 20 carries by Minnesota last season, and after allowing a 100-yard rusher in each of the first two games, the Vikings have not allowed more than 75 yards on the ground to a runner in the past 7 games. With the return of quarterback Andy Dalton, the Cowboys figure to have more balance on offense, which should help Elliott find some running room. Stat to know, Cousins has at least an 80 total QBR in his past 3 games. Brett Favre in 2009 is the only Viking quarterback to produce an 80 total QBR or better in 4 straight starts since the metric was introduced in 2006. Helping him along has been Jefferson, whose 4 games with 100-plus receiving yards are the most by a Viking rookie since Hall of Famer Randy Moss in 1998. And we all remember how damn good and fun that team was. What to know for fantasy? In Dalton's lone full game this season, Week 6 against Arizona on that Monday night, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Ezekiel Elliott all saw double-digit targets. Cooper was the fantasy producer of the trio, racking up 20.9 fantasy points on his way to a WR7 finish. Betting nugget, Dallas is 1-8 against the spread this season, the worst cover percentage in the league. Minnesota, big FPI favorite, 76.2%. Going with Minnesota. I'm going with Minnesota as well. 33-20, Minnesota beats Dallas. Nothing more to say, MF. Minnesota keeps it going?
I do believe so, yes. I'm going to go with Minnesota as well. Nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
You ready for the Tony and Mikey game of the week, MF?
Let's do it.
Yes, sir. Sunday Night Football on NBC. And what a game we have. Oh, is this going to be a fun one? The Kansas City Chiefs squaring off against the Las Vegas Raiders at the beautiful new Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Over on NBC, Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya on the call. Kansas City opening up as a 7-point favorite. I don't need your help on this one, MF. I know for a fact these two teams already met this year. They met back in week number 5 in Arrowhead, and the Raiders stole one, 40-32. So could lightning strike twice again? We'll find out. The series history, we know it's a lengthy one because, there's a lot of history. These teams have been divisional rivals for 60 years. They've been meeting each other since 1960, for goodness sakes. Kansas City leads the all-time series, but you got to throw the loss in. So it's now 65-53 with 2 ties. It's still in favor of Kansas City. That win by the Raiders in Week 5 snapped a 5-game losing streak to Kansas City. And the Raiders, they won in Arrowhead for the first time since 2012. And their last home win over the Chiefs was in 2017, that legendary Thursday Night Football game. We'll never forget it. That insane, one of the greatest Thursday Night Football games in history, that 5-star Shakespearean drama, 31-30, but that was back in the Oakland days at the Oakland Coliseum. But nonetheless, though, MF, for the first time, we're going to get this. we saw the look of Allegiant Stadium, blown away. I mean, what can you say? I mean, Chiefs and Raiders Sunday night, huge Western Division implications here. We know what KC can do, but remember, the Raiders handed the Chiefs their only loss this season in Arrowhead. Can they do the unthinkable and sweep them? Could they sweep them for the first? If they were to do it, it would be the first time since 2012. Let's see.
Yeah, it would.
Hello, friends. How about Allegiant, MF?
Well, listen, we gotta be, we gotta. This is the thing, First time around, that was a huge win. Can they do it? Can they pull it off? Can they shock the world one more time? Absolutely, no doubt about it. But I think Kansas City learned their lesson the first time around. I think they learned their lesson about what happened the first time around, and I do believe that Kansas City. I think Kansas City will lose this game, will win this game, and they'll beat the Raiders. I just don't feel like they're gonna get them a second time around. First time, that was a little shocking, but I think this time around they learned their lesson and they're better. They're a lot more better than they were the first time around. So I do believe that. I think the Raiders will give them a lot of fits. I think they'll give them some problems, but it's Patrick Mahomes, guys. He doesn't lose that twice in a row. No. I got Kansas City winning. Florio, it's yours.
What do you think of the new stadium, MF? What do you think of the new dig?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's amazing. It's amazing.
We wanted to see it, and boy, we're going to be in for a fun one, though. I can't wait. So, but anyways, what to watch for? Who will show up for the Raiders on defense? Las Vegas had a statement game defensively in the victory at Arrowhead Stadium last month, but 10 of the 11 players on their reserve/COVID-19 list are defensive players. Defensive end Cleveland Ferrell, who tested positive, is likely out, but the rest, including safety Jonathan Abram and defensive tackles Maliek Collins and Jonathan Hankins, will be eligible to play should they test negative this week. And without a stout defense, the Raiders have no shot against the powerful Kansas City offense. Bold prediction, the Raiders will have under their season average of 370 yards and get 0 plays of more than 40 yards. This might not sound very bold, but consider that Las Vegas had 5 plays of 40-plus yards and almost 500 yards of total offense the previous time they played the Chiefs. And no matter which team wins, there will be no victory lap around the stadium afterward. Stats to know, Raiders quarterback Derek Carr has a 94 QBR against the blitz this season, which ranks second behind Patrick Mahomes, 98. The Chiefs have blitzed on 34% of opposing QB dropbacks this season, the 7th highest rate in the NFL. What to know for fantasy? Prior to the bye, Chiefs wide receiver Tyreek Hill had consecutive 25-plus point games for the 3rd time in his career. He now faces a defense that Mahomes has gashed throughout his career, 26.2 fantasy points per game against the Raiders. Betting nugget, Las Vegas is 5-0 against the spread in its past 5 games against AFC West opponents. Yes, Kansas City is a big FPI favorite, 75.8%. It's about 76% going with KC. I'm going with Kansas City, but I think the Raiders will give them fits. I think Kansas City will pull it out in the end. I'm going to go 33-28. Kansas City gets their revenge on Vegas, pulls one out in what should be another fun and entertaining game between these two, and especially in that beautiful new stadium. I can't wait. Final game of the week, Monday Night Football on ESPN, and we got another good one here. We got the Los Angeles Rams squaring off against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. Over on ESPN with Steve Levy, Brian Griese, Louis Riddick, and Lisa Salters. And Tampa Bay opening up as a 4.5-point favorite. And hold on a minute. And the series history favors the LA Rams 14-9. Tampa won in Los Angeles last year. What a wild game that turned out to be. 55-40. Tampa Bay beat the Rams at the Coliseum last year, snapping a 5-game losing streak to the Rams. Rams won the last meeting in Tampa in 2016, 37-32. The Bucs last beat the Rams at home back in 2010, 18-17 final. So final game of the week, the Rams and the Bucs, and here we go. What to watch for? There has been a scoring discrepancy for the Bucs in prime time versus earlier games this season. They are averaging 15.6 points for and 27 points against in primetime games, compared to 29.6 for and 22.6 against in the earlier slates. This is their final of 4 primetime games this season, and they're 1-2 in those games. To win, they'll need to shut down the run early, a forte of theirs under defensive coordinator Todd Bowles, to limit Rams quarterback Jared Goff's play-action opportunities and not get swept up in LA coach Sean McVay's elaborate use of motion. The Buccaneers also need to give quarterback Tom Brady ample time to go through his progressions and make deep throws, something he didn't have against the Saints 2 weeks ago. Bold prediction, Rams defensive tackle Aaron Donald will record his 3rd multi-sack game of the season. Sacks come in bunches, and the Rams defensive front is on a roll, coming off a six-sack performance against Russell Wilson and the Seahawks last week. However, in 2 career games facing Brady, Donald has never taken down the 3-time NFL MVP. Donald also was held without a sack against the Seahawks, so watch for the 2-time Defensive Player of the Year to be extra motivated on Monday night. Stat to note, Bucs wide receiver Mike Evans has linked up with Brady for 7 red zone TD catches this season, 2nd among quarterback receiver duos in the NFL. Only Minnesota's Kirk Cousins and Adam Thielen have 8. What to know for fantasy, Tampa Bay running back Ronald Jones has been a top 25 performer at the position in 5 of his past 7 games and has a touchdown or 3 catches in 7 straight games. Betting nugget, Brady is 8-1-1 against the spread in his career on Monday Night Football as a favorite of 7 points or fewer. Tampa Bay is the FPI favorite, 65.3%. I'm going with Tampa Bay to beat the Rams as well. My final score, 30-26. Tampa Bay beats LA. MF put a bow on it.
Close game, but I'm also going to agree with it as well. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to knock off the LA Rams. So, Anthony, let's call it a night.
That is exactly what we're going to do. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. Tomorrow night, MF, you'll have it. Tomorrow night on your channel, Brace Fan 95, the recap of the 34th annual WWE Survivor Series. Who's going to get the bragging rights? Will it be me and Monday Night Raw, or will it be MF and Friday Night SmackDown? We'll find that out. That'll be tomorrow night after the pay-per-view. Myself and MF, along with Michael Bullock and Dede Woodson. Monday night, we got Ridiculously Raw, the fallout from Survivor Series on the Raw side, a special Tuesday edition of Strictly Sports as we will be recapping the 2020 NBA Draft, team-by-team grades and analysis. Wednesday, our 9th annual Strictly Sports Football Feast. We will be previewing the 3 NFL Thanksgiving games, the Houston Texans against the Detroit Lions, the Washington football team against the Dallas Cowboys, and the main event, the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field in prime time. That's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll also get into the college football slate, notable games, Iowa State against Texas, Notre Dame against North Carolina, the Civil War with Oregon and Oregon State, and, of course, the big one, the Iron Bowl, Auburn and Alabama. So that's what we'll get into on Wednesday night. We will be off on Thursday for Thanksgiving, and then we'll be back on Friday with a very special edition of the Wrestling Forum in which we will review. It's going to be a joint show. It's not going to be just Cerebral Smack Talk, but we're also going to be bringing in the Wednesday Night Mayhem element into this, as we'll be reviewing AEW Dynamite, NXT, and Friday Night SmackDown all in one show. So that's a little bit of a Thanksgiving feast there. And then this program next week, notable games, the Tennessee Titans against the Indianapolis Colts, the Arizona Cardinals against the New England Patriots, and of course, what I strongly feel is hands down the game of the week, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Mahomes versus Brady one more time. And then the Bears and the Packers on Sunday night, and then you got Seattle and Philly. So that should be some good stuff there. So that'll be on this program next week. And until tomorrow night for our Survivor Series recap with MF over on Brace Fan 95, Anthony Florio here signing off for my elite panel. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, Michael Bullock, Dede Woodson, and always in forever, FKG 401 Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Sunday. And until tomorrow night for the Survivor Series recap, you've been watching Week 11 of Strictly Sports NFL Saturday right here on the Zone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. And bye, everybody. Bye.